Hello there, my fellow myth and fantasy nerds. My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. So, when I was coming up with an idea for what this week's video would be, I actually remembered this really old Babylonian myth that actually seemed rather fitting for a video in June. And if you continue past this point, you'll understand why. Now, like with all my other myth and legend retellings, linked to the playlist up in the cards and in the description down below, I will be keeping as close to the original source material as I can, while also adding in some creative liberties when and where it's needed. Also remember, friends, a good story has many retellings and variations, and this is merely one of them. Now, a couple of disclaimers before I move on. First, I apologize in advance for potentially butchering some of these ancient Babylonian names. English is my first language, and I still have problems with it, so make of that what you will. Second, this myth is purely for educational purposes and doesn't represent my thoughts about the Alphabet Mafia, so please do not come for me. Now that that's out of the way, as always, please make sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe down below. Pretty please! It'll help me make more content for you. And without further ado, here is Ishtar in the Underworld. Ishtar was lonely. You wouldn't think this typical of the goddess of war, love, and fertility, among other things. But her husband Tammuz, god of shepherds and fertility, was stuck in the underworld due to a clerical error, and her last fling with the hero Gilgamesh ended in tragedy. After her disastrous fling with Gilgamesh, Ishtar decided instead to travel to the underworld and demand her sister Eresh-ki-gal, the queen of the underworld, return Tammuz to her. Ishtar made her way to the first gate of the underworld, and she demanded to see Eresh-ki-gal, saying, "Open this gate, or so help me, I will rip these doors off their hinges and release the dead upon the earth." The gatekeeper alerted his queen of her sister's arrival, and she told him, "Let her pass through the 7 gates. However, make sure she conforms to the ancient rules." The gatekeeper relayed this message to Ishtar, and she did exactly as her sister said. As she passed through each of the 7 gates, according to the ancient rules, Ishtar would be stripped of one article of her clothing. Finally, as she passed through the 7th gate, nothing about Ishtar was, left to the imagination. As she approached her sister, bowing low, Ishtar asked Eresh-ki-gal to please let her return to the living realm with Tammuz. "I made a mistake, and I wish to rectify that." Eresh-ki-gal thought long and hard about her answer. Then she rose from her throne of bones, approached Ishtar, and slapped her upside the face. "How dare you ask such a thing?" she said. "You know as well as I do that when Tammuz came here, he could never return. For this indignity..." Eresh-ki-gal waved her hand over her stunned sister and unleashed 60 diseases on Ishtar all at once. She then declared, "Hear me, O gods of heaven and earth. No man or woman, no god or goddess may rescue Ishtar and Tammuz from the underworld." This message rang throughout the world, and every creature on earth felt the absence of the goddess of fertility. Eresh-ki-gal's message eventually reached the ears of Papsukal, attendant to Enki, god of water, magic, crafting, intelligence, and creativity, among other things. What do you think we should do, my master? Popsicle asked. Enki thought and thought until, being the god of crafting and intelligence, he came up with an idea. Taking some dirt from underneath his fingernail and mixing it with the water of creation, Enki crafted a beautiful individual, who he named Asu-Shunamir. Now, Asu-Shunamir was unique among creation. Their beauty transcended traditional gender. They didn't look like a man, nor did they really look like a woman. They were both he and she, and yet they were neither he nor she. Enki leaned in close to Asu-Shunamir and told them what they needed to do. With this knowledge in hand, Asu-Shunamir asked for an audience with Ereshkigal, where they entertained her with song and dance. Ereshkigal found herself enthralled by their beauty, enchanted by their song, entranced by their dancing, until she found herself ordering her servants to arrange a vast feast in their honor. All the best food and wine the underworld had to offer was at this feast, and though Asu-Shunamir was polite and considerate, they were careful not to eat any food or drink any wine, or risk being forced to stay in the underworld forever. Huh, that sounds oddly familiar. Soon enough, when Ereshkigal was stuffed full of food and quite a bit tipsy from the wine, Asu-Shunamir asked her if they could have a sampling of the water of life, her most prized possession. Ereshkigal ordered her servants to bring the jug of water, which she kept in the palace basement. As soon as the order left her lips, she succumbed to the large amount of food and drink, and fell into a deep, deep sleep. While she slept, Asu-Shunamir brought the jug of water they were given to the cells where Ishtar and Tammuz were being kept. They took one cupful of water and splashed it onto Ishtar, restoring her to her powerful self. They then took another cupful, but before they could splash Tammuz with it, the enraged roar of the queen shook the cavern, and about half the water spilled out of the cup. The three made their way through the 7 gates, but before the final gate shut, Ereshkigal laid a terrible curse on them all. Asu-Shunamir, for tricking me and using my water of life, you and all your kind shall forever be outcasts, and live in the shadows with nothing but the food of the gutter to eat, and nothing but the water of the sewers to drink. As for Ishtar and Tammuz, since one of you got a full cup of the water of life sprinkled on you, and the other got half, Tammuz shall only stay with Ishtar half the year, and the other half he shall spend with me. When the three traveling companions found themselves in the world of light and life, Ishtar looked upon Asu-Shunamir with pity. Unfortunately, my sister is much more powerful than I am. I cannot reverse this curse she has put upon you. However, as winter must give way to spring, I may be able to soften this curse for you. She placed her hand on their shoulder and said to them, You and your kind shall suffer for many, many ages. You and all like you shall be like strangers in your own homes, and your families will see you as shameful secrets to be hidden away. The drunk in the streets will strike you, and those more powerful than you and your kind will imprison you. But do not fret, for because you were born from the waters of creation to deliver me from the land from which none return, so shall I deliver you. You will serve in my temples, and I shall grant you the wisdom of both heaven and earth, along with the gifts of healing and of prophecy. When the water of life is delivered through the 7 gates to the world of light and life, then, and only then, will you be free of your curse. And there we have it. That was Ishtar in the Underworld. If you liked this video and you want more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing down below so you don't miss any new content from me. Also, if you have any other ideas you want to see in any future videos, please leave your suggestions in the comments down below. Who knows? It might just happen. Alright, well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I'll see you all next week with some brand new content for ya. See you guys then.